Hello and welcome to Loving Me, Myself, and Life with me, Jody Misiak. And welcome to the second episode in Finding Your Way Back to Happy. I am so happy that you are here. We're going to talk about letting go of expectations, like I mentioned last week. And we're going to continue the story. So I ended it at where all the leaks happened. And now we're at Labor Day weekend. So that first weekend in September is when we celebrate here in Canada, Labor Day weekend. So to really get an understanding of what happened, I'm going to rewind the week before Labor Day happened. That last week, I had it booked off. I'm like, I'm not working. I'm going to spend the time with my kids because it's their last week before school. Let's do this. My kids had a few things they wanted to do, sleepovers with friends, play dates. I can't remember what else they had listed there, but they had a huge list of things they still wanted to do. And I'm like, let's do it. It's the last week of school. Let's do it. I dropped all my ideas of how to find balance in our week, with my me times and things. Like I just kind of let it all go and forget about it. And it kind of backfired. So I don't want to say broke my own rules, but I wasn't listening to my own advice. That is for sure. And we had a great time. It was so good until it wasn't. I think it was Thursday, my throat started to hurt. And by Friday, I couldn't swallow. And I'm like, oh my goodness, we're going into the Labor Day weekend. My husband took the Friday off. He had the day off. And here I am laying on the couch, useless to everybody, including myself. And I'm like, what did I do to myself? And I was so frustrated and angry. I'm like, this is Labor Day weekend. I had big plans. Like, we had nothing big planned, really, but I had big plans in my head, AKA huge expectations for the weekend. I wanted to spend as much time at the beach, swimming as much as possible, and just having some more summer fun before the kids went back to school. But I had a serious head cold. It had different symptoms, but each day just had a different thing. And I was eventually had to realize that I had to let go of all these ideas I had in my head. And then I had to deal with the emotional side of letting things go because I have this idea of what Labor Day should look like. To me, Labor Day, before we moved to BC, to the coast where we're surrounded by water, I would get depressed on Labor Day weekend. So when we were in Ontario, we were kind of landlocked. There is my grandma's cottage about 25 minutes away, but it was like a man-made lake and things like that. And like all the good beaches I wanted to go to were about 2.5 to 3 hours away. So I was like, yeah. And with kids going back to school, it just didn't work really well. So I kind of got really depressed. And then, eventually it was okay. I got, kind of come to terms, especially since we had a pool in our backyard. We put one in. Just one of the inflatable ones, but it was there and we did, and we had a good time. But I had this idea where it's like, it marks the last hurrah of the summer. And then I have to make it good, that I have to spend time outside, that I have to do this. Like it's this thing that I have to do. And if I don't, it's over. So I had to really let ideas go because like I said, we had plans. I had big expectations, big ideas, lots of hanging out at the beach to do. But then here I was laying on the couch. Thankfully, I have an amazing husband and he could take the kids out and they could do things, go play at the park or, hang out and do fun summery things. The thing is, though, I'm the swimmer between the two of us, or he swims, but not usually in the ocean, at least not in the cold Pacific Ocean where we are. Anyways, I am getting off topic here. Anyway, so the kids love when I go to the beach because I get in the ocean. We have a good time. Anyway, so I had to let go first of these ideas I had in my mind, in my head. And then I had to let go of the emotional part I had to it too. This attachment to it being a really good weekend, have like the perfect weekend, the wonder experience. Like maybe you can relate when you have this idea of something being so good and then it happens, you're like, oh, like I can think of Christmas morning. As a parent, I had magical Christmases growing up. I had these ideas, my parents really made Christmas special. And then as a parent, I was like, oh, my parents were the magic. So I am the magic now, but when I'm the magic, then I have to, my expectations, my idea of things have to be different. Because if we have this idea that everything's going to be perfect or everything is going to, a person's going to react this way to a gift or this and that, then all that effort you put into the planning, into the doing can just feel exhausting. But when you lean into the magic of it all in just general, then you can let go of those expectations. Because we can really let expectations ruin our day. We really can. I know I'm talking from experience here. And if I didn't let go of my expectations and the energy I had, or lack thereof, like I was really miserable and beating myself up for getting sick. I was like, what? Gah, lots of price swearing in there. I swear when I'm mad. I don't swear on here because I know that some people might be listening with their children. And I grew up with a very strict household where I couldn't say anything. So I always had come up with different words to replace them. So I'm pretty good, but when I get mad, I have a big potty mouth. So super mad. And then it comes out real good. So anyways, I had to let go of these expectations, or at least I chose to. I didn't have to, really. I could have taken this on forever and let it dictate, my next week, month, year. But I chose to let those expectations go because I knew that they weren't going to serve me well. And then I even laid with my emotions, especially when I started feeling a little bit better. But I didn't feel great. I'm like, I really need to get better. But the cool thing is when I let go, that allowed things to flow again because I wasn't hanging on to the steering wheel, right? If you hang onto a steering wheel really, really tight, you can't go anywhere. You're just stuck going in the direction that you're facing. I had to let go. And what came out of this is into that next week, our kids actually had a Pro D day on the Tuesday. So we had the Monday holiday. Tuesday was a Pro D day. So I still didn't do much that day. I was still I was knocked out. This cold was like something feisty for sure. And it's to the point where that's the thing that actually prevented me from recording this episode or this whole month much later because I still have a itty bitty cough that still lingers. That's why I have tea beside me. And things. So I had to let it go. And I was still healing, letting my body heal the best it could. And eventually I'm like, okay, enough is enough. Let's get to the ocean. I think I went on the holiday Monday. I think we went. I just sat and it was by the ocean because I'm like, ocean air is so good and so is the sun. So I felt a little bit better that day. Then the Tuesday, took the day off just to be again because it was a holiday or the Pro D day. And then Wednesday was when the kids go back to school for a couple hours. It's what I like to call orientation day where they go see the teachers from last year. They're still in the same class as last year. And then, they'll eventually find out who their new teacher and class is. But they only have a couple hours. So after they got out of school, we went to the beach. And it was the best swimming day ever. We had such a blast. But if I would have tried to push through over the long weekend and just try to still keep with my expectations that I had, I might have made myself more sick. But because I allowed myself time to heal and to let my body just dictate kind of where I was at, I was at a better place for that day because it got really warm here. I'm like, yes, let's do it. Let's do this. Let's go for a swim. And that's what we did. So in letting go of my expectations and really understanding my emotions behind the reason I was feeling sad and frustrated and angry at myself, the way I could kind of heal my heart, my soul, and my body all at the same time. Now, was it instant? No. And I might have been able to heal faster if I did lean into affirmations, but man, I couldn't even put thoughts together at that point. That head cold, I don't think I've had anything like this in a very long time. So it was pretty intense. But in allowing myself to let go and just allow life to happen, allowed life to flow around me. And then I had a really, really great day at the beach. Not on the long weekend, but after. And I remember being on the beach thinking, oh my goodness, I'm so lucky and I'm so grateful to be living on the coast where I could do this. And I even said to my kids, I go, you guys realize that not everybody gets this. We live on the coast. We live like moments away from a beach that you can go to school, come home, and go to the beach right after. And it was so beautiful. We saw other locals that were there that we saw all summer hanging out. And it was just this beautiful, beautiful moment in time where like I'll probably never forget. But if I would have spent the whole weekend at the beach on Labor Day, I would have enjoyed it and it would have been a great time. But it wouldn't have held so much more meaning to me. Like it was just this moment where I really realized how fortunate I am to be living in a place that I absolutely love. And I just felt so grateful for that moment and that day in our lives. Like it washed over me in such a beautiful, beautiful way. Because sometimes I take for granted where I live now. I remember when we first moved here and it was like this moment, like it was just huge. And there's still moments I really try to be mindful. But, once you live somewhere for a while, it kind of just becomes the norm. But I was reminded again of how amazing, life can be. So if you're finding yourself frustrated or angry or sad because life isn't going the way you thought it would, it's looking at where are your expectations in life? What can you let go of? Like I'm all about goal setting. I'm all about knowing which direction you want to go. Because when you set a goal or an idea like in life, then you have a direction you want to start heading. But it's when we let these ideas of how the day's going to be. And that doesn't mean you can't like envision, at the beginning of your day, imagine your ideal life and picture it. That's amazing, having this idea. But it's when we focus on the expectations all day long and try to shove our reality into our expectations, then we're controlling and we're pushing and shoving, and that's exhausting. And I say that with so much love because I find myself there. I used to be a pusher shover all the time. And I occasionally fall back into habits like that, going, whoa, hold on. Pushing and shoving doesn't feel good. It's very exhausting. So what I'd love and encourage you to do is you can have this vision, hold this vision of your ideal day. How do you want to show up? How do you want to feel? What do you want in life? How do you want things to go throughout your day? In the morning, or you can write it down if you want in a journal, or just lay in bed and think about it. Setting an intention for the day. And then when you move from that spot, allow life to flow with you. Because I don't know about you, but I don't like going up a current. I remember growing up in like my grandma, like I mentioned, her cottage was actually growing up, it was 5 minutes away from my childhood home. And we would kayak or canoe and things. And I remember when the current was really strong, like it was windy and things, it was so hard. I'd always make sure to go the direction against the wind and the current to get where I was going, like because I would just go for a paddle, not really going anywhere in particular, but go against it. So then on the way home, it was easier. So in life, it's having these ideas, having these goals, having this idea of how we want to feel, setting the intention for the day, but then allowing life to just be. Now, next week, I'm going to share about when all else fails, what do you do? Next week I'm going to be sharing some serious, like, not great moments in my mommy journey. Sometimes where I'm like, oh boy, like I could have done better for reals. So I encourage you to come and join me for what is going to be an interesting conversation, because I am going to be open and honest. And at the same time, it's a little scary because, as a coach and as a motivator and somebody that just encourages self-love and advocates for it really, and I've been on my journey for like almost 2 decades, it's kind of embarrassing to admit that, I have moments that really bring me down, that I get mad and angry. So I'm going to share all. in next week's episode, where it's when all else fails. So please join me. And if you enjoy listening to Loving Me, Myself, and Life, please subscribe. That way you get alerts for when the next episode drops next week. If you love this episode, please share it with others. And if you need a little extra support on your self-love journey, I have a beautiful free self-love masterclass called Reclaim Your Joy. And it's really to help women thrive on their self-love journey. Like I said, it's absolutely free and you can get instant access. This isn't signing up for it that's going to happen in a day or two or a week or a month from now. You have instant access because I know how life is. You know how many things I sign up for? A lot. And I never show up because unless I put it in my calendar and I make an effort because I know how life happens. And, you sign up in the moment and then you're like, oh, wait a second. I'm busy that day. This is you sign up and you can listen to it right away. I've kept it, I believe it's 40 minutes, fairly, decent length, hopefully. And it's a great way to just kind of help you thrive on your self-love journey. A little extra support for me. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate you being here and listening. And I look forward to talking to you again next week. Take care and have a beautiful, beautiful day. And there'll be a link for that masterclass in the description of this episode. Take care. Bye for now.